just move from there. All right. As we look into reshaping 2027 and whether party defections can point to how the politics of the day will be reshaped, can they?
First of all, let me first thank you for having me here today. And thank your listeners for, if they were not listening to us, we would not be here today. Now, I come from a party that is like a movement. That is DCP. And I want to tell you, without fear of contradiction, we will change this nation. This weekend, we are receiving several members of parliament as from today. And I know most of Kenyans, most of our followers here and out there are eagerly awaiting the Rigathi Gachagua presidency. What I want to say is that we are reshaping this nation. And as far as I know, there are many people in government, even today, who want to join this movement. It's only that they are afraid that they will be maybe intimidated. There are governors who are afraid that they will be, there are files out there hidden somewhere that will be maybe brought to, or DCI will be used to chase them. But I can tell you, watch this space. We are reshaping this nation.
Well, you mentioned something very interesting, that we are reshaping this nation. And indeed, we should as Kenyans. It is the right time. It is only fair. However, something a bit controversial that people are waiting for Rigathi's presidency. He's an impeached person, and according to our constitution, once a person is impeached, they cannot, under any circumstance, become a president of this nation. How do you respond to that?
My party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, went through legislative, which is parliament, which is National Assembly and Senate, and they indeed impeached him. But Constitution is very clear. He must exhaust all avenues, and that's why he's in court. So until that decision, that Parliament and Senate decision is upheld by judiciary, he can contest any seat. Yeah.
I mean,
we had Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto in 2013. They were not even in Kenya. They were in a place called, they were taken in a place called The Hague, yeah. And they ran, and it is the same constitution we are having today. We have not even, we are in Court of Appeal. We have not yet even reached to Supreme Court. And I tend to believe that we will not even reach there because that thing will be dismissed. I'm hoping so.
Well, we wait and see because the matter is still in the legal process. But Uhuru and Ruto were subject to international laws. That's why they're facing the ICC. Here, the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is facing our Kenyan laws. So a bit context, but we wait and see because, again, every Kenyan has the right. Now, political alliance is taking a higher escalation. You see, like you said, people will be, there's an expected exodus of people moving from one party to another, from one alliance to the other. But of concern to many Kenyans, and what we are trying to understand is that what are we looking for as a country? What do we want to gain by going to the ballot of the 2027 in less than a year? Because today we have a president who was voted by Kenyans, majority of them, according to the law. And people are not satisfied by his performance. And the regime, people are saying this regime must go. And must go. Because if you're not delivering for Kenyans, you go home. We employ new people. But what are we looking for? Because if it is a party, we have over 100 political parties in this country. We're going to have, currently we have about 16, there are about, or more than 10 definitely, presidential aspirants. Governors, MPs, MCAs, senators, women reps, all people will be elected because you have to fill those positions, constitution. But what should we be looking for? Even though you come from a particular party, what does your party stand for? What should Kenyans be looking for us to build a nation that is good for each and every Kenyan?
No, that's a good question. What we are looking for as a country is maybe, first of all, we need a person who is not selfish, according to me, a person who is not corrupt. I know most of them are corrupt because they've been in places and we know them. And again, we want a person who can unite this nation. We want our economy back. So we want a person who can maybe who can do that and many other things, but most importantly, a person who can protect lives of the citizens.
Right.
Right now we have a person who doesn't care, who wakes up in the morning and orders police officer to shoot citizens' legs, their legs. We have a person who doesn't care whether a young person is killed or old or any other person. We have a careless regime. We have a person who is appointed by the president who is protecting goons. He's supposed to be protecting Kenyans, but he's protecting goons. That is now the Minister for Interior, and that's why we are calling him the Minister of Goons and State Terror and Coordination of Hooliganism.
Right.
I mean, we need to have someone who can protect lives of Kenyans, regardless of where they come from or which religion they belong. Yeah.
Those are concerns for every other Kenyan in terms of misuse of security apparatus, insecurity in the country, goonism that we see being experienced. But whilst that is a concern, one asks the question just how exactly is then DCP, even as we see the movement of individuals from different parties coming to DCP, how is it going to address it? Because it is easy to throw shade at the other party because now it is the ruling party. But Kenyans as well are asking for proper plan, proper strategy on how that would be done. Because so far what many are hearing is just another talk in town.
Let me tell you, there are things that I cannot say here because our opponents are listening. But I can tell you, we have a plan, and our party leader has shown by example of what we did in Olkalau, that people were allowed to elect people of their choice without interference. In fact, he ordered one of the seniors in the party not to be near Olkalau because he thought he was interfering with the by-election. That is to say, people will be allowed to elect people who can do exactly what I've said here. Our people will not elect people who are tainted, because those people who have they will come with money, big money, and bribe voters. Now, for us to be able to do that, we have to create a conducive environment. First of all, from nominations of a party, so that we be able to produce people who can deliver.
Because many are asking then, if you talk about individuals who are tainted, does then your party leader come in as a tainted individual? Why do I say that? Because if you look at the formation of 2022 government, the Kenya Kwanza government through UDA, he was number 2. And immediately after that, during the Sufuria revolution, we saw what happened. He told Kenyans, I will wake up 5 in the morning, I'll wait for these people to come and demonstrate. And during that time, we saw journalists being beaten up, political opponents being beaten up. And that is credited to him. So when you talk about taint, does it come with that taint and the baggage that the UDA government, Kenya Kwanza government carries? Does it take the baggage as well?
Let me first start with what you've said about Unga movement. By then, I was treasurer in Azimio, Jubilee Party. And I know what you are saying is very true. But how can you here do what your boss has not allowed you to do? Mm-hmm. So what Gachagua did that time is what he was deputizing a person. That person, every other time when we had demonstrations, he was outside, so that in absence of the president, the deputy takes over.
So the deputy takes responsibility is what you're saying?
That is it, because he deputizes the president.
So he's tainted, that's what you're saying?
No, he's not tainted. It's like you now here. If your boss advises you or orders you to do this and this and that, you will do that. And don't forget that they were very new in office, both of them. And they had promised us so many things, and they wanted us to be seen as failures because they had there before defeated us. Now, the boss instructed his deputy to do what he wanted to do.
So the deputy participated in what one would call an injustice and illegality against the law. So that means if we talk about extrajudicial killings and misuse of police as we speak today, at the time when the deputy was taking orders from the boss, he equally takes responsibility of an illegality that was given by the boss, is what you're saying.
But no, when he realized that he was being used, you saw what he did during Gen Z's. The president called a press conference, and let me say, he called Gen Z's Mikora. Mm-hmm. But his deputy called his own press conference thereafter, something that has never happened, and said that they are our daughters and sons. And he said that we cannot be in this government that is killing its own children.
That is 2024. But
yeah, I'm talking about
responsibility of what he did in 2022 is my question.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about what when he realized that he was being used. There are things you do because you have been ordered to do. Mm-hmm. But it comes to a time when you say, no, this is not going to happen. And that is what my party leader did. He is not tainted.
Okay.
Well, that is, we could argue about that, because today, your party leader, the impeached deputy president, says...
The second deputy president.
He stands impeached.
That's the second deputy president. I have no clue about that.
He says any police officer who takes an order that is not constitutional is responsible individually for the execution of that order. It is on the same breath Dennis is saying that the orders he took from, as you're saying, William, the outgoing president, William Ruto, he is responsible for executing those orders because he's a person who was in office. Because whatever good things may have happened then, he takes credit for them. So he equally should be responsible enough to take responsibility for the things that did not go right. So that we are able to use the same skill and apply it on other civil servants. Do you not agree?
You know when the boss is in office and gives orders. I don't want to speak on behalf of the government. I've never been a spokesperson for the government, but I can say here, the person who ordered whatever happened is the senior most person and left the country. The deputy was there as a representative, but you didn't see Rigathi Gachagua in streets. You saw police officers. So the person who had, the person who had ordered, but you have heard him saying shoot. Okay. You have heard him say shoot the leg. So the president, the person who is in office, ordered his men. Why are you not asking about the person? The person who was responsible for security that time.
We will come to
so the person who was responsible for security is the one to blame.
Now, then why is the impeached deputy president fighting to go back to the same boss who was giving him orders that he did not want to?
But he's not fighting to go back to.
He has refused. He still, he refused to resign.
Yes, because he believed in himself, and he knew that whatever he was being accused of, he was innocent. Yeah, that's why he didn't. If I think many people would have, or many people advised him to resign, so that he can seek to be elected. Maybe he would be free now nobody would be saying that he is impeached. But he stood by his conscience that I am innocent. Why am I resigning?
Well, the logic would have been if you have a bad employer, you leave that space and look for another space. But we wait to see how that develops.
Yes. The bad employer employed his goons in parliament to remove his deputy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we look at the defections that we see, or rather the political exodus then that is happening, especially in Mount Kenya, one asks the question, the defections that you see specifically in Mount Kenya and how that will change the conversation, is it because it is the most populous party today in the region, or is it because they identify with the vision, with the agenda that the party carries?
No, they identify with our party, but first and foremost, when William Ruto impeached or orchestrated that move of impeaching Rigathi Gachagua, he impeached the community. So
he impeached an individual, not the community.
That is your view.
Okay, explain to me how he impeached the community.
I'm saying he impeached the community. And we have so many examples. When William Ruto was running for presidency and selected, because he's the one who selected Rigathi Gachagua to be his running mate, few people knew about Rigathi Gachagua. Is that not true?
It is. He has even said that much. No one knew him, right? Not for William Ruto.
Yeah, William
People
Ruto.
did not know him.
But thereafter, before then, he was just a one-term member of parliament. Thereafter, when he became the deputy president, we owned him. I was in Azimio myself. But when he was elected, I didn't shift from Azimio to that party. Then, when he was impeached, we felt that why is William Ruto doing this? Maybe he would have allowed him to finish his term. Then he removes him from, or maybe he refuses to appoint him again, to select him again, and choose another person. Now, the reason as to why I'm saying that is because if you look at how things are now, that party that is led by DCP party leader, my 2027 presidential candidate, Rigathi Gachagua, if you look at where he is, he has support a big following is from the mountain. And that's why I'm saying when William Ruto impeached Rigathi Gachagua, he impeached the community, the entire community. Yeah.
You see, Deputy President, second Deputy President, impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, was Deputy President for the Republic of Kenya. He was elected to serve into that office as Deputy President for the Republic of Kenya. The impeachment is one of the processes that Kenyans prescribed upon themselves through the Constitution of Kenya 2010. An impeachment of an individual does not represent an impeachment of a community, because if you speak like that, remember in 2022, Mount Kenya gave the opposition at the time, Raila Odinga, over 1 million votes. So where do you leave the 1 million people who voted for the opposition if you say that Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment is an impeachment of an entire community?
The same people who from Mount Kenya, 1 million from Mount Kenya, who voted for Raila Odinga, are the same people who were there before, refused to elect Raila Odinga.
And refused Rigathi Gachagua as well.
It is because of one Uhuru Kenyatta. Again, a person from that region. You need to know that right now, where William Ruto has following, much following is Rift Valley, where he comes from. I don't want to preach tribal politics here, but we are in this nation. For example, Wiper Party, where is its support base? Is it not Ukambani? When we were in Jubilee, when we were with Ruto, 2013, 2017, 2022, our support base was Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. Same case with Raila Odinga. And Raila Odinga, Nyanza. Right now, as we speak, politically speaking, Matiang'i has his base in Kisii, Kisii, Nyanza, I don't know, Nyanza, Kisii, whatever. So that is the politics of this nation.
Well,
I have questions, but let's
take a break. We come back.
Because we want to look at a number of things. Because in all of this, some of the questions then that need to be asked is that as people play this monopoly and divvying up the nation, what happens to the very basic that Kenyans continue to ask for from good leadership? That it seems as though personal vendettas are flying about. People want to show one or stick one up to the other person. But then there's a whole group of people who are saying, for goodness sake, what we're looking for is somebody who's going to come in and actually lead the country right. We'll continue this conversation when we come back from this break. Stay with us.
This is the Situation Room. The only way to start your day. The only way to start your day.
The person who is supposed to be answering for Kenyans is the president himself and representatives of the people who are maybe members of parliament, who are lawmakers and senators. But maybe I don't want to say that they have failed to do what they are supposed to do, but that is the correct position.
So you're saying they failed?
They have failed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Kenya faces a problem whereby you vote out somebody, but we're not really cautious about who we're bringing in. So we take the sword only goes and slices in one direction and doesn't slice back in terms of bringing in the person or the persons who are actually going to do the job right. Now, who is going to do the job right? Because we would have started to get some indications of people who are really interested. I mean, you've told us that you can't tell us what the plan is because, you know, somebody is likely to copycat kind of phenomenon. Okay. But we would be able to tell, right? You can tell if somebody is cutting onions because the aroma, you'll be able to tell then who's really interested in making sure that these things that Kenyans are complaining about today will actually be top of the agenda. But it seems like that aroma is not wafting through to the people unless we are not hearing you right? It seems as though people want to say, well, you did me wrong, so here's my opportunity to do you dirty as well. And it seems to end there. What happens to Kenyans?
As I said earlier, we have a person who is the party leader of our party, who allowed people to elect a person who they want to represent them. That is now in Olkalau. That will be replicated. I can't talk about the other parties, or I say there are other people who can do better than my party leader. But we are equal to the task. Immediately, you allow people to do whatever they want while choosing their representative. You will have leaders who will have Kenyans at heart. So we will collect the mistakes that have been done. My party leader has been saying all time and again. He was in my brother's village last Sunday, and he apologized to the people for campaigning for the member of parliament. The member of parliament, he went there, talked to the people, and campaigned for the man. But he is now campaigning against that man because what he wanted, maybe what he thought he would do, imekuwa tofauti. Now, the person who can correct the mistakes that we have seen is not William Ruto and his administration. And that's why we have alternative government. Alternative government comprises of Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Edwin Sifuna, and other leaders, other principals. And our hope is that they will be able to answer the many questions that are being raised by the Kenyans. Because the current government has failed terribly.
Now, all the other principles you mentioned, the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene, and the rest, who are offering the united alternative government as an option, they all belong to one coalition called Azimio, which is being led by the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. So is DCP in Azimio as well?
No, DCP is not in Azimio.
Yeah.
And if I may say here, we are not even interested in joining Azimio. But we are planning to have our own coalition that will be that even Kina Sifuna and Kalonzo Musyoka will join. Yeah. So about Azimio, we are not interested at all. Yeah.
So as a person who also has national interest, because I believe we all want a good country.
Yeah.
The reason we are having all these political discourse, political parties, exodus, movements, and all the other things is because we want a good country. We want a working nation. Now, in 2022, the former president Uhuru Kenyatta had a project called Raila Amolo Odinga as a candidate, deputized by Martha Karua. And if Uhuru Kenyatta had performed in his 10 years as a good president to the satisfaction of Kenyans, Kenyans would have had no problem listening to him say, my deputy is incompetent, do not vote for him, vote for my project. But Kenyans were of the opinion, you, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, then the president, Maliza, when finish and go. And this extension of you as Raila Amolo Odinga, we are not going to vote for him because we are not satisfied by your performance. Now, he's coming back through other projects. So he has Kalonzo, he has Matiang'i, he has Sifuna, he has the Azimio coalition. Do you think the Kenyans are going to bite the bait again and follow his project? Do you think his project is any better than what he had then in terms of regime and systemic change?
My guess is as good as yours.
Right.
And your guess is as good as mine. That a retired president, however support he gives his friends, he might not be able to convince people to support his project. And that's why us in DCP, we are doing our own thing. We are going to the people, we are listening to the people and doing what we think is right. Because we've seen, sometimes you go by what you've seen there before. We had Moi Kibaki.
Yes.
We had Moi, who brought his project. However good Uhuru was in 2002, people rejected his project. So right now, I don't know what maybe Uhuru will do to make sure that his project is accepted by people. But us in DCP, we are not interested in what Uhuru is doing because we know he supported Raila Odinga. I was in that side, I was in Azimio. And we failed. He had everything to make sure that Raila won that election, but he failed. So I'm not convinced, and I don't think anybody will be able to convince me that people can support Uhuru's project.
So what would be the next move? Because you look at the Azimio coalition where Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka is at, and Uhuru Kenyatta, with all intents and purposes, being there as the leader of Azimio, supporting Kalonzo Musyoka, and on the other hand as well, Kalonzo Musyoka as a key principal in United Opposition as well, getting the nod. Isn't that an oxymoron? Because the person you say that is being supported by Uhuru Kenyatta, who is a project, is pretty much the same person in United Opposition and as well being supported by the principals as well. At that point then, will you not just be against supporting Uhuru's project, or how do you deal with that question when asked?
I think Uhuru Kenyatta is like any other Kenyan. He has a vote. He will vote for his preferred presidential candidate. And Uhuru is a Jubilee party leader. He has his own candidate, Matiang'i. And I don't know why people are seeing him as a person who is pushing the opposition agenda. He's not. And maybe the government, the people who are in this government, are in one way or the other tainting his image by saying that he's funding the opposition. They are even saying that he is the one financing Linda Mwananchi, Akina Sifuna, and Kalonzo Musyoka. No. If he's financing those people, why is he not financing Matiang'i? Why didn't he finance his candidate in All Kalau? And they had a candidate who got less than 200 votes in All Kalau. I think Uhuru is, to me, Uhuru maybe is not interested in politics because
But
of
he's the chairman of Azimio.
yeah,
He's the one
yeah.
in the party
He said
leader
he was
of
to hand over. He was even to hand over the Jubilee party leadership. But when Sabina Chege and Kanini Kega were sent by William Ruto to snatch the party, he said, no, let me first make my house in order. So that's when he went ahead and maybe talked to Kalonzo, I'm not sure, and said that we need to revive this Azimio, hoping that he will be able to sway people to his side. But I don't think it will work at all. And I don't, you can't deny someone who wants to vote for you. But I can say here without fear of contradiction, we need Uhuru's vote. But
what for?
You just, I'm sorry.
To vote for us as a person, as an individual. He's Democrat. He has a democratic right to vote for whoever he wants. We want him to vote for us.
As an individual.
As an individual, not as a leader of any party. But
so you need Uhuru to vote for you just like any other Kenyan.
he
would
has a
cast
right
their
to
ballot,
vote.
Essentially, is what you're saying.
He has even
in
a
terms-
madman will vote.
All right, but
so we are
in terms of his-
interested in even Ruto. If Ruto can vote for us, better for us.
Stanley, so in terms of his political sphere or movement, you're not really interested in that, is what you're saying. But that as a Kenyan who has a right to vote, you would be interested in getting his vote.
Yes.
I'm going to go back to what I asked before, for fear of, without fear of repeating myself, that all of this seems to be a couple of people playing Monopoly with Kenya. That people are rolling the die, casting the dice, and then hoping it'll land on property that you can pay for. And then if you need to then pass a certain place and you'll pass go, you collect 200, nobody will tell you to go to jail. It just seems as though people are divvying up the spoils without realizing that the people of the country, 55 million, and maybe remove a few for the people who are playing this game, without realizing that people are actually looking for an opportunity to be part of progression of a country from one place to another. That they couldn't be bothered if it was who it was, so long as the person was doing something right. How do you dissuade people from imagining that you are only there for political expediency or personal expediency? How do you dissuade people from doing that? What would you do? Because I'm telling you now that there is an alarming percentage of mistrust towards distrust by the Kenyan people. Not just in the current administration, but in people who've been in the political space for a very long period of time. And Kenyans are saying, for goodness sake, for once, can we just get things right? How do you dissuade people from imagining right now that those who are moving, these many numbers that we are seeing this morning, those who are moving, those who are coming out, the mass exodus that we've been promised, that people are not just doing it for themselves?
You know, as a party, we have formed a team that will vet those people who are coming. We are not interested in having so many members of parliament who are tainted. That's why we formed that team. I've not heard of any other party, even there before, forming a team to vet people who are tainted, people who are corrupt, people who go against the electorate. Like now, for instance, the people who voted for finance bill, even people resoundingly rejected that finance bill. So, as a party, we have formed a committee that will look into that matter, and I can tell you, we will produce the best in this nation, in this country, as a party, as a DCP party. And I want to tell you, this is because our party leader is a genuine, honest, and truthful man. And he wants people to believe that whatever he says is not because of politics of the day. Yeah.
Well, that would be interesting to see, because again, in about 40 weeks, all political parties must hold their party primaries, the nominations.
Yeah.
And this will be the initial cutoff where we begin to see who are the would-be candidates, opposition, including the president, because even the presidential aspirants or then candidates must be cleared by IEBC. We wait to see, because this outgoing president, William Ruto, has violated a number of court orders. Will IEBC still clear him to vie for president? Your party leader stands impeached today as per our constitution. Will IEBC clear him, and many other people who have litigation issues. So we wait to see how that develops, because if indeed we are a country of the rule of law, we should be able to see how that plays out in these coming 40 weeks. My other concern is like a lot of the parties we have, beginning the DCP party, we don't hear ideologies. We don't hear real-time solutions on how Kenyans are going to experience the change we are looking for. We have seen one, Kalonzo Musyoka, in my opinion, when he was in an interview and he was asked what he would do in the first, was it 100 days or the first day he gets into office? And in my opinion, he could not articulate any substantive change for Kenyans. We saw the other day the leader of the Linda Mwananchi, Sifuna, being asked the same question. And he said, I'm not even an economic expert. I have experts around myself. So even your own party leader, he does not stand for a substantive ideology that Kenyans can say, this is what we believe can answer the electoral question. Because currently we're in an economic crisis. The electoral question is the economic of the country. The only party we hear talking about economy, and the party leader who articulates what could transform this country, is Jimmy Wanjigi of Safina Party, who is not with the affiliation of DCP, he's not with Azimio, he's not in Kenya Kwanza, he stands alone as a person and as a party. Do you think it is time for us, even as you vet aspirants, converge around an idea that can convert this country to the nation that we want to see, such that even parties like DCP, which do not have an economic idea yet for the nation, can fold and join other parties who are more inclined and well articulated on the idea on how to transform this country economically?
Let me say that DCP has an economic idea, but DCP can't do that or can't do anything if William Ruto is in office. That's we are saying we want to make him a one-term president so that those many ideas that we have, including the economic one, we can be able to show people what we can do.
No, but people should know in advance.
Yeah, they will. They will.
Yeah.
They will.
Okay.
And as I said earlier,
Yeah.
we cannot diverge anything that we are planning to do. We know who is William Ruto. We know the person we are dealing with. In the fullness of time, we will unveil our manifesto, which is almost ready.
Okay.
And that's why we normally say that we are listening to the people, because we want to make it. Want to make a manifesto that will not be from Rigathi Gachagua himself, but from the people themselves. Now, we have so many things. We can talk about health, we can talk about education, we can talk about, like what they say, that they are putting money into people's pocket. We can say how we cannot, we can talk about empowering our people, not giving them or donating beans and rice to the people, but how we can empower people to be able to buy for themselves. Now, you have talked about a very, very strong thing that is in my head. IEBC. IEBC, we are very much aware that the chairman didn't apply for that position. It is in public domain.
But he was vetted by Parliament.
He was vetted, and he was asked to go to the YouTube, and he said that. So that is not a person who was interested in that seat. He was poached because he was, I think, county secretary of, I think, deputy state house controller, the former governor for Turkana. So, as a person, I believe he was put there by his masters to execute only one thing, not to preside over a peaceful election or whatever, but just to declare William Ruto president, regardless of how many votes he will get. And we are coming to that as we progress with this whatever, because it is not the entire commission we have a problem with. It is the chairman himself. And we are saying he needs to resign. And we have another person in that office. We don't want the entire commission. You know, if now we start fighting the IEBC itself, William Ruto will be very happy to disband it, so that we can have another another like 2 or 3 years having William Ruto in office, because William Ruto knows very well that if we start that process of forming another commission, it will take more than 2 years, and he will still be the president. So we are not talking about the entire commission. We are talking about one chairman, IEBC chairman. You have talked about Kalonzo.
Yes.
And I want to tell you, Kalonzo is a former vice president. He has served in this country for more than 40 years as a member of parliament, as a minister, as a vice president, and as a leader of a political party. I think Kalonzo has his own ways of doing things. That's all I can say about Kalonzo. And the former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka is one of our serious contenders of presidency. So let's wait and see.
I mean, I still want to go back to IEBC. You talked about resignation of kicking out the chairperson ahead of before the next general election, and that notwithstanding, then where does that place the reason to win that DCP had in Ol Kalou? Was that as well?
Sorry.
The reason to win in Ol Kalou being handled by IEBC, is that valid given the fact that the same chairperson went through the same process?
Yeah, we know they wanted to manipulate the process, but people rejected.
So that win is valid.
People rejected whatever they wanted to do. You saw them barricading the roads leading to polling stations when they realized that IBC and state machinery.
In a minute.
We are in.
In a minute. Will DCP go to elections if Ethicon is not kicked out?
We will go. We will go. We cannot boycott elections. We will go, but we will prove wrong. And that's why we are saying, you have so many alternatives. We will go to elections, but we are saying we are advising our people to do the Ol Kalou way, to read the Nyandarua Bible and Ol Kalou verse, that vote wisely and protect your vote.
All right. Stanley Kimure is the DCP National Director of Political Affairs, Strategy and Mobilization, and we'll be talking about reshaping 2027. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And, of course, more conversations to continue. Good morning. It's 9 a.m.
The latest news. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
I am about 300